Pro Tour Berlin. Hello and welcome to Pro Tour Berlin. I'm Randy Buehler here with Brian David Marshall. We are getting ready for semi-final action. We're going to start on the matchup between Luis Scott Vargas of the United States and Tomoharu Saito of Japan. There you get a good look at LSV. He's got the quickest of the 4 elf decks that have gotten into this semifinals. Somebody is going to win with the new elf combo deck. Elf Ball, Dragon Elf, whatever you want to call it. That's the engine that is going to crown a Pro Tour Berlin champion. Tomoharu Saito's got a version of it as well. He kills with Predator Dragon, trying to make a giant dragon, devouring all the other elves coming over for the kill. Game has gotten underway. LSV leads with a first turn Llanowar Elf, and Nettle Sentinel comes down off of Pendelhaven for Tomoharu. Who do you like in this matchup, Brian?
I'm picking LSV to win this match.
All right, well, Luis does not have a second land, but he does have a Heritage Druid and a Nettle Sentinel. So looking pretty good.
4 mana to work with next turn.
He's set up to potentially go off on turn 3 if he's got the right cards in his hand. Tomoharu, on the other hand, sitting on turn 2. The real key difference between these two decks is that Saito plays Wirewood Hivemaster. And the Hivemaster means whenever elves come into play, he gets an insect.
And it sees Luis's elves.
Whether it's his elves, Luis's elves, doesn't matter. This growing horde of insects will come out, and Tomoharu has the ability with Court of Calling to potentially go get creatures out of his deck, even when he's tapped out. So, Glimpse from Nature for Tomoharu. He gets to draw a card every time he plays an elf now. Plays a Birchlore Ranger. Now, in theory, Luis has the faster version of the deck. It's Luis who's supposed to be able to win on turn 2, not Tomoharu. Or is he just doing some card advantage, trying to get ahead a little bit, or does he actually think he can win here? Well, there's a second Nettle Sentinel. 2 Nettle Sentinels means he can effectively play every 1-drop he can draw. Every time he plays a green card, those things untap. He can tap 2 of them to make a mana off the Birchlore Ranger. Here comes a Wirewood Symbiote. That'll allow him to pick an elf back up and replay it as well. Saito going to make a run at a turn 2 kill here?
He's getting out some accounting equipment.
There is nothing Luis Scott Vargas can do at this point. He has no ability to interact with Tomoharu.
No, and I mean, even if he had mana open, he doesn't really have a plan to react to, and that's what we were talking about in the pre-show.
Yeah, well, Luis has just gone all in with his combo. His deck is built to be as blisteringly fast as it possibly can be. Just ignore the opponent and try to beat them first. So, Tomoharu's doing some math.
Looks to me like he probably doesn't have everything he needs.
Green. Double Chord, double Visionary, and a Forest. He's already played his land.
And he can get a free card off a Nettle Sentinel by tapping the 2 Nettle Sentinels, returning a Nettle Sentinel.
It's going to be tricky to get mana for the Visionaries.
What he's really hoping to draw here is obviously a Heritage Druid.
Yes. Heritage Druid just more efficient at making mana than the Birchlore Ranger. I don't think he can afford to become
Returns the Birchlore Ranger, untaps.
Yep, uses his Symbiote to return Birchlore Ranger to his hand and untap Sentinel. Now he's got the floating green mana in order to play the Birchlore. That untaps the other Nettle Sentinel.
So the question really here is, did he draw? Here comes the vision.
Shadow Coring.
No, Cord.
Cord.
You can't tap Symbiote for
right.
It's not an elf. But he can Cord to go get a Heritage Druid.
Excellent. There you go.
Yep. So he Cords for Heritage Druid. Now he can make 3 mana, play a Visionary, play the other Visionary. He might actually be off to the races here on turn 2. He's got another Cord in his hand. He just needs to not run out of elves. Right?
Yep.
I mean, he's glimpsed for 1, so every elf is a card.
That's 3 mana.
Right? That's 3 mana.
Uses 2 to play the Visionary. Draws 2 cards. Untaps 2 Nettle Sentinels.
Yeah, he's got 2 Visionaries in his hand.
Use 2 mana. Try this. Untap. Draw from this.
Mana is not an issue at
Draw
this
from
point.
this.
Just cards. Just needs elves. Draws a forest. Oh, and another forest. That was not the card draw Tamahara was looking for. He's picked up 4 forests over the course of this attempt. Now he's down to 1 last Visionary, and he's very much in danger of fizzling. He's got to go for it, right? It seemed like there's a whole lot to think about here. Just play the Visionary, he gets 2 card draws.
And if he's not dead on Luis's next turn, he still has a Court of Calling for next turn.
3 mana.
True.
4.
So up to 4 mana.
Ready.
Spends 2 of it on a Visionary. Just
Draw
needs
from
to
this.
draw elves.
Well, he can, I guess.
Draws.
Draw.
There's a Hive Master.
Hive Master.
There's Summoner.
And Summoner's Pact. That should do it.
That seems like
That should do it. Now he's got, 2 more creatures should be all it takes. He is pretty close.
That's the first time we've really gotten to see the combo.
Wow, turn 2.
Three mana.
Yes, man.
5.
Up to 5 mana. Presumably the
Ready.
Hive Master. Yep.
Untap this.
Untaps his 2 Sentinels.
Draw this.
Now future elves are going to start generating creatures as well, which effectively is Convoke food for the Court of Calling. All he's got to do now is just build up to the point where he can Court of Calling for Predator Dragon. Didn't see what he drew, but we know he's got Summoner's Pact, so he's got at least a little more food. Just got to draw 1 card off that, and it was a forest. So at this point, he's got a Summoner's 5-land Summoner's Pact Court of Calling. He's got 6 mana available.
3 mana. 6.
There's 6. Now he's going to... Summoner's Pact untaps the Nettle Sentinels, right?
Anything green untaps the...
Ready. Untap.
Right. 6 mana. So he can effectively Cord for 5 right now. I think this is enough, right? So what do you Summoner's Pact for? Does Symbiote make the most mana here? Symbiote will untap something and give him another elf to play. I think you get Symbiote.
And it gives him an elf and a...
Gives him an elf and an insect and another elf to play. Yeah, I think he's got it. Summoner's Pact for Symbiote. Yep. Or maybe not. Yeah, it's got to be Symbiote. Summoner's Pact for Symbiote. You've got it, Tamahara. Just show Luis the Cord. He can do the math. Oh, he wants to draw 1 million with Regal Force? What does that do? He loves that Regal Force.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's going to give him 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Enough cards that he can guarantee that he goes off.
Yeah, but the game's over.
Yeah, but he's...
Symbiote's good enough. He's seen the deck list. There's nothing for Luis to do, so...
and 1 let.
Taps
He's
the
one
Metal
green.
Sentinels for Birchlar Ranger
Ready
mana.
on top. And
Plays
draw.
the Symbiote. Back to 6. 3 untapped guys. That's 9 mana. Dragon. Chord for Dragon. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yep. That is a lethal dragon. Do you just want more camera time? It's just like he's just jaded for being player of the year. He's used to being on stage, hasn't had a big finish this year. Has to go for more.
He's thinking about it. He's working through all his options.
Doesn't even have it. Well,
Double checking the math. So the Predator Dragon's a 4/4.
Yes.
It's Devour 2.
yes.
It can devour 9 creatures on the board. That's a plus 18.
Is this
22
6
damage.
on this 3? Exit 6.
And Luis is probably just going to shuffle up as soon as he sees it.
Making him go through the motions.
Sure. There you go.
Yep.
Just throws all his cards into the red zone.
Predator Dragon for the win. Tamahiro Saito goes off on turn number 2. All right, now what happens? Now these guys go for their sideboards. And what do they find?
Luis Scott Vargas is more than likely, if he doesn't audible to his Jitte plan,
Mm-hmm.
is almost certainly going to bring in Thought Seasons.
Yes. That's basically what he's got for this matchup. He's got 4 Thought Seasons.
That's really...
He's got Elves of a Deep Shadow in his deck, too. I mean, this actually makes the black mana relevant there.
He's got about 10 black sources, so... I have a feeling he's going to end up going to the Jitte by the end of this match.
Just because he's desperate.
That's just what he does.
Saito, on the other
He
hand.
may also go to his Shamans because he knows that Saito's bringing in...
Two
he
blasting
expects that
stations.
Saito's bringing in Blasting Station.
Yeah, Saito has 2 Blasting Stations, and Sharpshooter, and Aethersworn Canonist, and Orzhov Pontiff.
Right.
So he's loaded for Bear in the Elves matchup. Loaded for Elves, I guess.
It's also worth noting at some point in there, Saito could have just corded up and... Let's take a look at what he could have corded up there. Yep, no. Never mind. So yeah, I think this is now LG is just trying to break up the combo.
Yeah, we were talking to him over lunch, too, and Luis was... I mean, he kind of knew he was a dog here. He's like, I really need to win game 1, and... The bad news is he's a dog even if he's going second in game 1. Like, he thought he was advantaged in game 1 because he's slightly faster. He felt like he had a slight edge in game 1, but, I mean, that edge is smaller than the die roll. Well, he won the die roll. So, good news for Luis. He gets to go first, but didn't have a turn 2 kill draw. Set himself up for turn 3 really nicely. Never got there. All right.
Yeah.
I drew a land, I think.
Meanwhile, on the back table,
Come through.
Sebastian Thaler seems to be in control of that game. Seems like he's got board advantage versus Zarokai. Board advantage, not all that important in that matchup, especially in game 1.
Yeah, the real important games in that match are going to be 2 through 4. So we know that Saito's bringing in his Pontiff here.
What does he take out? I mean, that's the tricky part. We've got so many sideboard cards that he could potentially bring in, but it's not like that deck has a bunch of chaff in it. You don't want to fill it with a bunch of clunky elves, clunky cards that aren't one-mana elves.
I mean, if he watched LSV's match, he can't reliably take out the Viridian Shaman.
You take out Viridian Shaman. There's not going to be Jittes. You're not going to lose to Jitte. Like, even if Jitte comes down, it's negated by Wirewood Symbiote. You know, the Symbiote just says, oh, look, block, return, no counters for you. You can't even kill the Symbiote. Like, LSV has to get a Jitte and get counters on it, or I don't buy it. I would take out Shaman if I'm Tamahiro.
And then, alternatively, I don't know what he sides in or out for the Blasting Stations, but I guess maybe he would take out his other kill.
Regal Force, I think, can go.
Certainly take out Regal Force, maybe take out one of the redundant elves somewhere along the way.
Yeah, he's got the full package of tutory type cards, right? 4 Summoner's Pack and 4 Court of Calling, which most people skimped on a little bit of there. Seemed to be in the like six-ish range. 4 Courts was unusual and 4 Summoner's Packs was unusual. So just based on sort of watching, the elf deck doesn't seem like it needs that much. I don't think you can afford to cut elves, so I think you skimp a little bit there.
Yeah, we talked about how fast LSV's deck, but when you look down the line at Saito's list, it's all 4s except for the land, and then 3 cards.
Yep, 1 Shaman, 1 Regal Force, 1 Predator Dragon.
So
His is, I think, the most consistent version of the deck. He's also 16 forests, right? Basic forests. He's by far the most resilient to Blood Moon. A lot of the other elf decks that are in this top 8 just lose to Blood Moon, or have like 4 forests. Luis has 8, to be fair, but some of the other lists, I think one of the lists had 0 basics from the top 8.
Thaler only has 4.
Keep.
10. I think everybody has a couple. We got Saito's looking at his openers.
Keeps.
Got a
Luis leads with a Nettle Sentinel and
an overgrown too. Or is that
Tamaharu. Gilly Palace. Tamaharu goes with Llanowar Elves.
And there's your thoughts.
Yep, there is your Thoughtseize. Didn't need to do it on turn 1. Goes for turn 2 and sees Symbiote, Nettle Sentinel, Forest, Court of Calling.
Is that a blasting station up there?
Blasting Station and Orzhov Pontiff.
He's got the Pontiff in his hand again.
That's the only Pontiff, so that is bad news for Tamaharu and good news for Luis. Even better news, the fact that he knows it, he doesn't have to play around that getting courted out now. So, Blasting Station, yeah, I agree with that choice. It's funny, if Pontiff were in the deck, Cord would have been a lot more tempting.
Right, absolutely.
But with Pontiff trapped in Tamaharu's hand, it's not going to come into play unless we get a Birchlore Ranger down and some time. Speaking of Birchlore Ranger, Luis adds 1 to his side of the board, which untaps Nettle Sentinel. And he could potentially play another 1-mana card, but does not. Alright, Tamaharu plays a Forest. We know he's got a Symbiote. We know he's got a Nettle Sentinel.
Is the Summoner's Pack the new card? Yeah.
He has drawn Summoner's Pack. Very relevant. What do you get? It's funny. Hive Master.
Well, he's not going to get anything right now. He wants to be able to
pay.
Unless he's going to win this turn. Which,
no Glimpse? Is that realistic?
no.
I mean, he could pay if he got Hive Master and plays out the Symbiote.
So it sounds like Saito, obviously we've seen that he brought in the Blasting Station package. It looks like he also brought in the Sharpshooter. Has not brought in the Aethersworn Canonist, which we saw was a pretty significant card in the Use of Thaler matchup.
So Saito plays the Symbiote and the Nettle Sentinel out, chips the turn.
This can't bode well for Luis.
Wow.
He's playing a tapped land.
Comes in to play tap land and go. Definitely bad news for LSV. There was a window there.
Causing a hunt.
Both life totals on the back table have entered triple digits. A couple of Essence of Wardens for Zadokai. I think only 1 for Thaler, but they both cracked 100. Now what? Tamaharu has Summoner's Pact in his hand.
He's waiting for a glimpse.
He has Court of Calling in his hand. No sign of Glimpse. I mean, Elvis Visionary, when you've got a symbiote, can do an okay impersonation, especially if you've got time, right? If Luis is just sitting in top deck mode, Tamaharo can top deck 2 or 3 times a turn. Does it make any sense in Summoner's Pack for Visionary?
I mean, I think he's more likely to chord for something.
Oh, chord for Visionary. In fact, yeah, he can chord for Visionary, then use Symbiote to untap Llanowar Elves, play a land, he can summon the Visionary. Bring it back on Luis's turn. I don't know if there's a quicker play, but he can use the chord to get some cards.
I mean, basically, he wants to dig for Eclipse at this point, right?
That's what I think. I mean, also, he's only got the 1 chord. He could Summoner's Pack for Hive Master, which is then going to turn on chord.
Sure.
He can get up to chord for Dragon without a glimpse.
I'm curious what
With a
he took,
Hive
I'm
Master.
curious what he took out for the Blasting Station and Sharpshooter.
All right, well, there's the Summoner's Pack.
Okay.
What do you think he gets?
I think he's going to get a Heritage Druid. Nope, he's going to get the Hive Master.
That was going to be my prediction, I promise. Hive Master's the right
I
play.
could hear you emanating Hive Master.
No.
Huh. Sounds like Psycho took 2 Versatile Rangers out of his deck. We're talking about how, okay, you can sneak out some of the redundancy. He left in all the tutory type parts, but took out a couple of Versatile Rangers. There is Hive Master.
Green. Hit on top.
So he tapped Llanowar Elves for mana, uses the Symbiote to untap the Llanowar Elves, and pull the Nettle Sentinel back to his hand. Casts the Nettle Sentinel. That makes an insect.
Left once? Okay.
So he can pay using the Llanowar Sentinel and the Wirewood Symbiote on his turn.
Go.
Yes.
This would be a great time for... it wouldn't even be a great time for a Jide.
There's the Thoughtseize.
Wait.
So, do you respond with Chord?
You chord for another Symbiote. He can only chord for a 1. He
You
can
can chord for a
the-
1.
He can chord for the Heritage Druid.
The rest of his hand is a Pontiff and
A Shaman.
a Shaman, so
You absolutely
you
chord.
chord as a response. I don't think you care about getting Pontiff or Shaman knocked out.
Sorry, that's
Oh, okay.
The chord for
I
Birchlore
think-
Ranger
sorry.
brings Pontiff into play.
just last turn.
Right, at least now you
Yeah.
can start talking about hard casting Pontiff.
When you return the elf and play the elf, and you tap the elf for mana again.
You can use Symbiote to untap Llanowar Elves too.
You tap this for mana.
Okay, cool.
Return Nettle Sentinel.
So you can
Yeah.
Tap this.
Sounds
chord
like,
for more.
Sounds like they're catching the judges up on how he paid for stuff.
Sorry.
So he can Symbiote return something to his hand, untapping Llanowar Elves, which does not actually turn him a profit on chord.
Well, it gets it right now.
Oh, yeah, I understand.
So he wants to do it in the middle of
Last time,
chord.
I used only 2.
Oh no, if he has it
Again?
untapped. Oh right, because he has to return.
Our spotter, Rashad Miller, explaining things to
And that's
Saito.
I think, yeah.
Rashad made finished in the top 16 in
Go
this
mana,
tournament.
I think. Sorry. Thank you.
Saito starting to slap himself in the face a little bit. You're missing that.
He's not going to just throw away chords. He has to chord for one.
We have a Predator Dragon from Taller. Okay, there's the cord for one.
We can't talk about it though. 'cause
Untap.
Yeah, I'm not allowed to talk about the Predator Dragon for Taller because it's smaller than the last one we talked about. This one, only 116, 116.
Forget we said it.
Okay, what do you get here? Versatile Ranger? Heritage Druid?
I might get another wireless. I don't know. I think he's just, I mean, he's really just turning it into a guy. Heritage Druid lets him do some pretty,
Versatile Ranger lets him potentially cast Pontiff, though.
I don't know how worried he is about casting Pontiff right now.
Goes for the Heritage Druid.
Gets an insect, so there's trouble.
Yeah, it's sort of too bad he couldn't cord
He'll
for two.
probably,
I think Visionary is what he really
he's
wants.
going to probably lose the Pontiff here. And, LSU certainly doesn't care about the Shaman.
I think you take Pontiff.
He has to, right? Yeah.
I'm not even sure why Shaman is still in Tamaharu's deck. Because he's heard too many stories about Jitte. Morph! I have seen more Morph Versatile Rangers this tournament than I ever expected to see in Extended in my life.
I'm thinking this.
Alright, Tamaharu has the option to use Symbiote. Seems like he should. Better off with an elf in his hand, right?
Certainly if he draws clips.
Yeah, he was sort of one mana short of getting a Visionary multiple times.
Can't pick up Llanowar.
Better, he can untap Llanowar Elf for no good reason. He better not pick it up. Oh, he has Heritage Druid to pay.
Oh,
He
that's
can
right.
pick it
There
up.
we go. Sorry.
There's a die sitting on top of Tamaharu Saito's deck right now. It's like, do not draw a card.
Done this.
It's the die standing there saying, you have something to remember.
3.
Please don't forget to pay for Summoner's Pact.
Pay back.
Yes, okay. Taps 3 for Heritage Druid, taps a Forest, pays for Summoner's Pact, and then moves the die off his deck so he can draw a card.
So this is very similar to the how the match started for LSV last round. Just 2 games where just
Never in it.
never in it.
There's Birdstar Ranger, which recently came off the top. Creates another insect.
Done
At least
this.
it's kind of lucky. He's got a Nettle Sentinel. At least he's got a 2/2 available to block. Symbiote untaps the elf, makes more mana. Tamaharu just using the symbiote to create more more insects, really. More insects, and ships the turn. He's up to 5 insects. Nice collection of Pro Tour player cards there.
Looks at a Shaman.
You end step. We done this.
On the back table, Zadokai and Taller are negotiating who's going to keep track of life. Apparently they're taking turns. There's so many Essence Wardens and so many things coming into play that it's a burden. They figure, okay, one of us will keep life, the other one will trust.
You get to play first. I get to keep life.
Another one?
Now, I guess if you play first, you have to keep life.
I think they take turns. It's like the other guy, you're the one who's spending his time, Essence Wardening and Hive Mastering. The other guy has the life. Wow, sounds like Taller is down to 3 cards in his library.
Oh, wow.
But Zadokai is going off, trying to make an even bigger Predator Dragon. All right. Meanwhile, Saito up a game. He went off on turn 2 in the first game. The second game has been a lot slower. Saito has suffered a couple of thought seizes, which has kind of busted his draw up, but LSV's just got nothing going on. Got those 2 thought seizes and then just no action. Nettle Sentinel and a face-down Versatile Ranger give him a pair of 2/2 blockers, but that is not going to buy him more than a turn or 2. Saito has another Summoner's Pact. He's also got a Birchlore Ranger. He's also got a Viridian Shaman. Pact for Visionary. Get some card draw going on.
He can also, is it possible that he can...
Can he Pact for Dragon and cast it?
Pact is only green.
Oh, Pact only gets green creatures? That's
It could get a Regal Force.
Oh, it could totally get a Regal Force.
But I don't think he can make enough mana to cast it.
No, because the insects don't help. The insects don't make any mana. Sure. 3. But Pact is free, so maybe he can. Yeah, if he's still got Regal Force in his deck, I think that's the play. Pact for Regal Force. Draw a million.
This time I didn't set round, right?
Yeah, he's trying to see if he can get Birchlore Ranger onto the table first.
I can't set round.
The answer's probably yes.
Right. Which untaps Nettle Sentinel.
Exactly.
Ready?
Gives him 3 elves to tap for...
Okay. I still have 3 mana.
3... Goes to 6.
Do you symbiote, return something, and land where elves, and think you turn a profit of a green permanent or 2?
There's
6 mana, and there's Summoner's Pact. I think the play is Regal Force. Yep. So how many green permanents? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 13? 14? That should do it. If draw 7s are good enough to get banned, how about draw 14s? Seems like he ought to be able to get enough gas by drawing 14 cards. Still has Symbiote, too. So we can untap land or else. Shouldn't run out of mana.
7 mana. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 5 more, 3 more. 13 creatures. Draw 13 cards.
It's 13. I believe I double counted the Regal Force the first time. 13 will have to
started on Regal Force and worked your way around back to Regal Force.
Yeah, exactly. $13 cards for Saito.
Draw.
And again, LSV's mana is all untapped, but his deck just has no way to interact.
Right. In any other matchup, this is actually a pretty scary board position.
Yeah.
Because 6 mana represents Chord for
Pontiff.
Pontiff.
$94 plays 203 on the back table.
So he's making some headway.
I think so. Zadokai still going off, I think? So, Zadokai's on 94, which means that Predator Dragon is still lethal. He's got to play a bunch more creatures to get life.
Sorry.
Started the turn on 25. He's run his life total up from 25 to 94 over the course of this turn so far. Can he get up above a Predator Dragon? And then there's like 2 cards left in Tyler's library. He's got to do this like 3 times.
He did draw a glimpse into 13 cards.
Oh, shocking. Glimpse, in effect. Nettle Sentinels, untapping.
1 mana.
More Nettle Sentinels
Cool.
to come.
More Nettle Sentinels.
And token.
And there is nothing for LSV to break this up. He just needs a chord. Just needs to dig for Chord of Calling. Or have it in his hand. Yep, there's Chord of Calling.
Draw card.
Saito playing it slow.
Why would he play it slow? Don't you want to not draw your Predator Dragon?
Okay, there you go. There's Chord. Luis is like, okay, show me the dragon. There it is.
No.
Scoops him up. So Tomohiro Saito takes a 2-0 lead. Maybe we can go check out the end of that the game on the other table. All right, these guys are going to shuffle up. Saito's got a 2-0 lead. Meanwhile, Thaler and Zadokai are still in the first game. Our spotter's been feeding us updates. Thaler has a pretty big Predator Dragon, about, what was it, 118? 116 Predator Dragon. Not enough to win the game in one hit, and Matai Zadokai is doing his best to play out stuff and muck around with Hive Masters and Essence Wardens and gain enough life so that that dragon will no longer be lethal. He's up to 111 and counting. Thaler's at 245 and counting. So
Interestingly, this game, which is about 112 or however big this dragon is going to come down to decking.
I think Thaler is in risk of getting decked. Thaler has 3 cards left in his library. And Zadokai, hard to imagine making a big enough dragon to crack for the win.
Are those completely maxed out 30-sided die representing insects?
Yes, they are.
We are 8 untapped tokens.
One's at 30, one's at 10.
I got 12.
Probably has something to do with which ones are summoning sick and which ones aren't.
Yeah, it might also be digits. It might be like some base 30 number of insects in play.
No.
Sure, we can get a count of how many insects are in fact in play.
36? Okay, so you get 36. But, hold on.
5, 6.
Yeah?
So that's 7 creatures coming.
Okay,
So it's plus 42 each.
that's 42 each.
So if Zadokai can stay alive for...
He's got to survive,
2 each.
looks like 3 more hits.
3?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thaler's got 3 cards in his library.
This one
So,
down.
Rashad Miller
So-
once again.
So really 4 more hits.
3. How many?
3 more hits.
No, 3 more.
3 more hits. 4th hit would have been.
15,
And
I gain 42, so you're at 200.
Or potentially make a bigger dragon. Like if he makes a bigger dragon, he just wins. He's got, yeah, we need to get an insect count.
Okay,
52 insects for Thaler, only 10 for Zadokai.
okay, so tap 2 of these guys and 2 of the tokens.
So I mean, really,
Yeah,
Zalakai's
6
actually
tap
going
and
to
4
use
taps.
Yeah.
And
insect advantage.
Chord for 1.
Well, there's Chord of Calling. Time to go get a dragon?
Uh-oh.
I think mana doesn't matter.
Can he do 257 to Sebastian?
No, he's only got 10 insects. Like his Hive Masters came on board later.
So that's only...
Oh, Chords for a symbiote. That's interesting. Wants to keep going, I suppose.
Yeah.
4 each?
4 each?
Yeah.
Right, so 4 or 2? 2 each. It's 2 each. That's 2 each.
Yeah, 2 each, sorry.
257 to 153. What sport are they playing? It looks like a cricket score or something.
Tap these for 1. And for
Meanwhile, over on the other table, it looks like
6 mana.
Saito and LSV are underway.
Okay.
And he's come out very quickly with Llanowar Elves, Birchwell Rangers, and Heritage Druid off of one land to a Llanowar Elf for Saito.
Oh, yeah, sometimes.
So there's the 30-sided dice.
Use this one.
You're looking at 52 insect tokens. One of them set to 30, the other one set to 22. Every one of those represents an insect. Looks like 3 Hive Masters and 2 Essence Wardens for Sebastian Thaler.
It's like those stories from World War I where the soldiers from both sides got together to celebrate. Like, why are all the insects on one side of the table?
Well, because it's Thaler's turn to count them.
So one,
You know, if it's your turn, you're too busy casting creatures. The other guy's going to have to keep track of life totals, and insect counts, and things like that. And like we talked about, wow, there's like 3 glimpses in here.
How many more tokens do I have? Untapped.
6.
6 untapped?
Yeah.
Plus
Plus,
two.
oh,
Yeah, 6
sorry.
plus 2. Yeah, it's okay. Yeah, so...
Apparently Bill Stark's just sitting there. Hasn't typed a word in about a half hour. Yeah, this is going to certainly be one of those sentences in the coverage, which is along the lines of, and then the 2 elf decks did their thing for a little while.
Let's see what this is.
That's 3 elves. Looks like more Heritage Druid mana.
3 mana, 7. You use 1 unit. 6.
I like how the dragon's power,
Draw 2.
like how the Devour tokens on the dragon are represented by 3 6-sided dice. It's digits. There's 112 +1/+1 counters on the dragon, making it 116, 116. A 1, a 1, and a 2. It's just the number of counters. Many insects gave their lives. Yeah, 56 of them. in
Yeah,
fact.
sure. So 3.
I wonder what turn this is. Like, there's not very many lands in play. I mean, Tyler has a land, right?
Okay.
It's,
42.
Zadokai has 2 lands, and Tyler has 1.
So it's
Probably about
300.
turn 3 or so.
1.
So Saito is on the other table. Saito is starting to make things happen.
Yep. No, 42, you're 97.
Yeah,
You're
a Symbiote, a Hive Master, a Llanowar Elf.
Saito going for it on turn 2 again?
He is.
I don't think he's got a glimpse in play.
He's not drawing any cards.
He's got Hive Master. He's got Hive Master Symbiote already. So.
Yeah.
Oh, here comes another 30-sided die.
6 untapped.
We need a 4th one.
Okay.
Alright, he was just building up his ground, Saito.
Okay. It's only 116.
LSV, it looks like he's stuck on
Yeah.
it. He just has Glimpse of Nature, though. Taps his 3 elves.
On
My what is the grid? Okay, I use...
Plays a Symbiote. Draws a card.
So, in the match we're watching,
Plays
Zadokai.
Elves of Deep Shadow.
My tokens.
Draws a card.
6, 10. Chosen 2.
We need split screen technology.
Yeah, I don't think you doing play-by-play on a match that no one else can see is actually going to work. LSV is trying to go off. Yes. We'll come back to you in a...
So we gain 2 each.
So how...
199.
This match is... This is the kind of match that's going to look good in a box score tomorrow morning. I mean, it's kind of agonizing to sit here and watch all the mechanics, but if you think about it, it's actually kind of cool what's going on here.
Yeah.
Tyler has made 116 power dragon,
No.
and Zadokai is like, all right, that's what you got? I can do better. And he has to do better. If he can do better, if he can make a bigger dragon, he wins.
Right.
If he can't, maybe there's a chance he can actually deck his opponent. He's run his life up to 199 at this point, so it's still at 2 dragon hits.
I still have 5 mana.
Yeah, in fact,
Okay.
good point being, dragon of any size will block. So he's pretty close to winning this game,
Okay.
right? He needs to get where he can survive 2 hits and chump block. I gotta believe that with double glimpse in play, Actually, there's 3 chords in his graveyard, but. So at 116, if he can get to 233 plus a chump blocker, and Toller is decked.
That's true.
It's probably hurting if he draws Predator Dragon, though, right? Visionary.
So that means I draw 3. Sure.
I think Zadokai actually wins this, right?
Yeah.
He's got his life total up over 200 now.
1 times you 4, me 3, right?
Yeah.
I draw 3 cards.
How close is he to getting decked? Where is he at in card count?
He's drawing 3 cards per glimpse. He's got like 20-ish cards left in his library. He's drawing 3 a turn. Keeps playing stuff.
I'll use these mana.
Yeah. Okay.
There's another Essence Warden. So even more life, in theory.
Okay.
So you get for the.
I feel like 233 plus a Dragon
you get,
chump block wins in this game.
3 tokens.
Yep.
Oh, I'm sorry. He can be attacked by more than just the dragons.
He can't be.
Right, that insect advantage is relevant.
4 plus 4.
Right, Toller has had triple Hive Master the whole time, and I think there's only...
So, and we get live.
Is it 4 to 2? Is that what's going on with insects?
For that,
Double checking the insect count.
Well, the Hive Master count. 2 for Zadokai versus...
how much are you at?
And the first is the full 4 for Toller.
You're at 200.
So Zadokai is sending his life total up, but every time he plays a creature, he falls behind by 2 insects.
3 tokens.
Yep.
Yeah.
But I gain 3 for each.
That's just crazy.
So just to give you a quick update on the other
4
table.
tokens, but you get
Yes.
2 for each.
LSV is in the middle of attempting to go off on
Yes.
turn 3. The drawback to this scenario could be that there is a Hive Master in play
So how does it work now?
for Saito.
Yes.
So he's getting a token for every iteration, and it's possible that if he has Quarter Calling, he could disrupt it, but he would have to do it pretty soon because with Storm,
Okay.
Yeah, great shot.
it doesn't really matter if the elves are still in play.
Let's see. Yeah, but the thing is that
Yeah.
when I play this, they all trigger and I gain life from even for this one.
Get live from the essence one.
I gain life for the third warden. I get life when I play it from all Hive Masters.
You guys are doing all my math here.
Yeah.
You gain 2 each.
Yeah.
It seems like the key is whether Zadokai... I'm not sure Zadokai... Because he's falling behind by 2 insects every turn, every time he does something, I have trouble imagining him actually decking Toller.
You get.
Seems really hard to see.
There's 7 tokens coming in place in total, right? 4 yours, 3 mine.
Yeah.
So I get 7 times 3.
I mean, those insects are going to get to attack 3 times.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sure, he's gaining some life off Essence Warden right now, like his life total is headed in the right direction, but I think that the threats on Toller's side of the board are growing faster than
You're
Zadokai's
at
life
2,
total.
3, 8.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right.
All of which says to me he's got to get a bigger dragon.
And you draw a card already for the
Yeah, I
essence
did.
one? Okay.
I did draw a card.
If he can get a bigger dragon than Toller, then suddenly he goes on the offense and or blocks. But chump blocking dragon doesn't seem good enough. So then 2 insects, how many creatures does he need to have a bigger dragon?
Well, he doesn't. I mean, he just needs. Well, if he can get
57?
150, if he can get 100. You know, I mean, if he could get a 300-something dragon, he could hit in 1 turn. I don't know if that's possible.
Okay.
I don't know if he can get to 335.
So that's.
Well, I bet he can. I think he can survive 1 hit. Right.
Yeah.
Of course, Toller will spend his turn trying to gain life off his own Essence Wardens.
But Toller can't really afford to play that game.
True. Certainly doesn't have a deck to draw a bunch of elves from. Virtual Arranger, untapping 3 Mental Sentinels, drawing more cards. I mean, there's enough untapped elves and Birchlow Ranger that I believe Hardcast Dragon is totally fair here.
Checkpoint now.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
So 2 times, I get 8 tokens.
Yeah.
Yep. You get 8 tokens.
18. You get.
Louis Scott Vargas just
6.
thought seized Saito,
You're
saw that there was nothing that could stop him, and
Yep.
flashed him a grape shot, and LSV
So Louis Scott Vargas
So
got
got
game
himself on the
3.
board.
Get live. 7 tokens.
So LSV goes on the board. Saito's still up 2 games to 1, but nice that the Thoughtseize does let him clear the way, right? He doesn't have to risk a cord for Dragon.
I don't even know that the thoughts mattered that much there with the grape shot. He may have just
Had enough storm.
might have just been the extra storm copy.
Fair. So Saito still leads 2 games to 1. He'll now get to go first in game 4. And Tyler Zadokai still embroiled in game number 1, 335 to 238.
So you had 35.
Zadokai is catching up, having the Essence Warden advantage, but Tyler is growing insects twice as fast.
With the hive master.
And I get 2 times 16 lives.
So you get 32. Oh, yeah, so 367, right? Yeah, 367. And I get 48.
I wish we could do a graphic where the life totals were just spinning up,
I get 2
a la
times
Bugs
16
Bunny.
lives.
Yeah, 2 times 16 is
Yeah.
32. 32 plus 335 is 367. And I get 48.
It's so interesting. I mean, there's definitely. I remember the World Championships in Berlin.
286 to
Is there something about Berlin?
And there might be something about Berlin. That was Mirari's Wake versus Mirari's Wake mirror matches.
But I have to
Had us here until some ridiculous hour of the night.
Exactly.
We just got a groan from the crew.
They managed to block that memory. It is particularly ironic that the foil giveaway that you get for showing up at the Pro Tour, the sort of participation card, is a Mirari's Wake. It's like, just come, go to the DCI booth, everybody who shows up gets a free foil.
So you brought this on yourselves.
Maybe.
And 1 token?
It's
gonna happen in Memphis.
For now.
I believe Mirari's Wake is the card for the whole year.
Okay, obviously it has to be bigger than this one,
How big is your dragon?
right? For me to be relevant, I don't know.
I'm not sure. You have 28 tokens?
Yep.
So 30.
So he can just, at this point, pass the turn back.
Only
Yeah.
50?
Well, he won't die.
Yeah.
I feel like he needs a bigger dragon.
Okay, never mind. Then I'll do it. I have to try. And tap 1 token.
And here comes
So
one.
you have 21.
Alright, here comes Court of Calling from Zadokai.
Untapped and 7.
Coach for 1. Okay.
Is he courting for 1? Wow.
So
Why
you
would
get 3?
yeah, he's probably got the dragon in his hand by now.
It's quite possible that
He's certainly capable of
drawn it.
casting it with the Birchlow Rangers for red mana. He doesn't want to get himself decked. He's just getting every monster into play that he possibly can, right?
So, I'm at 289. You're at 369.
He doesn't trigger the hive masters.
True. Just an insect.
Okay, what's play?
Doesn't he want to trigger the hive? His own hive masters are good news for him, though.
Whatever. This guy.
Picks up Visionary.
Except Visionary,
Untaps.
untaps Heritage Druid.
How much mana does he have in his pool?
Yeah.
Well, it's a 20-sided die. I haven't
Sure.
upgraded to a 30-sided die yet.
So it's not possible that he can take
12
lethal
mana.
mana burn if he passes the turn yet?
At 286, I don't think so.
I wouldn't.
At this point, it doesn't matter much. You never know. Yeah, okay. Okay,
This is
yeah,
crazy.
probably this. Okay, so this. Check there.
Oh, Hive Master.
Okay, 2 times now.
Yeah, that's 2 times.
It's actually unfortunate for Zadokai that his Hive Masters have been hiding on the bottom of his deck.
8.
He could have used a lot more insects a lot earlier.
I get 8.
Yeah.
28.
I get.
And you get 6.
Yeah. You're 27.
Yep. So in total it was 6 plus 8, correct?
I think there's still only one 30-sided die representing
For the life can you?
Zadokai's
Yeah,
insects.
So it's the same. 32 and 38.
Okay, 32 and 48 again, right? And plus 48 plus 32.
So he's not. I mean, he's currently not in danger of even dying to an alpha strike.
3.
Right. His dragon is, if he's got 27 insects, he's got like 20 other elves.
So you're on
401.
Well, he has only
plus
insects.
48,
Most of his elves probably.
30.
Well, the elves in play. There's about 20 cards in play on Zadokai's side, and there's like
Oh,
27
sorry,
insects.
I thought you were talking about.
I'm just trying to figure out how big Zadokai's dragon can be. I think if he can get it to 117, he's fine. I guess 118 kind of can't actually be a...
And I'll put my coordinates together for you guys. Was it to say yes? These are tapped. These are tapped. All of them. I think.
Meanwhile,
I think I mentioned. I think they're tapped.
Saito and Ellis, you're about to go off
All
on
of them?
another game.
I'm not
Sure.
These ones. I probably when I was rearranging, I probably untapped them. No, they were. Yeah.
They were untapped.
Okay. I'm pretty sure this one was tapped. I never untapped. Okay. I think this one was tapped. I don't think it matters, but I'm pretty sure that one was tapped. So.
I mean, Zadokai's dragon
Right,
doesn't...
he might have also. He probably has multiple cards at this point.
No, he's cast 4 of them.
Oh, he's cast all 4.
Funny
Yeah.
thing.
Pretty sure.
So he's just got to play the dragon.
Yeah, there's 4 cards in his graveyard.
So is he holding the dragon at this point?
I assume so.
I
Plays
first
an
I drew
S.
2 cards.
Making the math even more difficult.
You want
Okay.
Okay.
So I get 4 life. 4 tokens.
Mana. Okay. So you get 4 tokens.
And you
Or
get
dice.
Yeah, we both get 4 tokens.
Oh, we've broken through the dice barrier for Zadokai.
Up to
So
31.
we both got 4 tokens now.
Yeah.
But
Which is... It's just not enough.
This
It's
comes in
crazy. But I don't think he has enough to make a big enough dragon.
gets 3 for itself, and it gains life for all the tokens made by it.
And like he's falling behind on this insect
Three for
race, so it
itself,
doesn't actually
3
help
for
him
me,
deck
2 for
color.
you for him. Okay. When it comes to play.
I could easily be misunderstanding
3,
this,
40
It's
with
but it sure seems like
correct.
Zadokai, either
And then
in order to deck
I
Talar, he
get
has to
both your
survive
tokens.
3 attacks.
so that's 8 tokens total times 3.
And in order to kill Talar with damage, he has to make a dragon that's bigger than 116.
yeah, times 4. Okay. So it's times 4. It's how much?
4 tokens.
I mean, Talar's up
8
over
tokens,
400.
so 32. I gain 32.
So if he's going to trade damage, he's got to have...
Right?
He probably has to get at least half of Talar's life total in order to be able to trade damage with him.
For 19.
he doesn't need to trade damage. He just needs.
I'm getting
block,
closer.
right? Like,
But there's so many insects.
sure, but he's
He needs to block the dragon. Right, I think if he has a bigger
Block
dragon,
the
then he
dragon.
can
I
block.
think he can just take insect damage.
Yeah, I agree. I think he can afford to get slaughtered by insects because they won't have time. That he'll deck. 419 to 372.
So yeah, just make note of 1. I draw 2 cards.
All of which says he's got to get his dragon up to 117
Yeah,
power.
just
Well,
do
117
one.
power.
Make one.
All right. Zadokai has finally just now drawn his Predator Dragon.
Play this.
Oh, eldest champion.
Cards. Make 2.
Hilarious. It's not actually super relevant. Okay, they forest walk now. Yeah, but the insects can still block the insects.
That's not enough. He's gonna tap his elves to play his dragon.
Yeah, but if he can block,
Yeah,
I mean,
no,
his game is block.
This guy. 2.
How many cards left in Zadokai's library?
Okay.
I mean, he's down to not very many.
Yeah. Can I just make red mana?
5
here? I
or
don't think it's
6?
relevant. I just make 3 red.
Glimpse is any creature?
Any creature.
Yeah,
He's
mana
gonna play
for-
the Predator
for
Dragon.
few.
He's gonna go down to 3 cards. I think he has to play Predator Dragon here.
Final
Yeah.
check.
Okay. So
Promise.
I get 12 tokens.
Yep, you get 12 tokens.
Meanwhile, over on the other table, Game 4 is underway.
So you got
Luis led with an early
Yep.
Thought Seize, took an Elvish Visionary, and I'm looking at a board of 6 lands of Birchmore Ranger for Saito.
Right?
So I imagine his hand was not
Yes.
very spectacular.
12 and 12.
And
24 creatures total come into play.
LSV
So that makes
is
24
Double
times
Metal
4.
in the
Sentinel.
middle of double metal.
Birchmore
Sentinel.
Ranger. He's
24 times
glimpsed.
4.
There's a Thought He's looking really good for LSV.
Plus
Looks like he's going to be able to
Okay.
force game 5.
Yeah, so it's 27. Okay, 27. 54 for you.
And 108 for you.
So 54 for you.
He's going through the motions here.
473. Correct?
How does this deck play on Magic
Yeah, and
Online?
108.
It's a lot of triggers.
Do you need one of those like hedge fund trader, like 6 screen monitors to be able to see everything?
Come on, Rich, don't laugh. Yeah, I
Elvis
surpassed him in
has
life.
stopped in the middle of going off. Has a ton of elves in play and just attacking for 3.
What can I say?
Yeah, must not have his great
Okay,
shot.
how many tokens do I have now?
I
Chips the
have
turn to Saito, but
104.
he's Thought Seized. He knows Saito doesn't have
And you
anything.
have totally 50.
50.
50.
Only 50.
Uh-oh. The crab's turning
Damn.
ugly. They're starting to root for 4 digits
Okay,
in life
I'm gonna play the
totals.
dragon anyway.
Yeah, sure.
I have to try it now.
All right.
That's 3 red, 3 colorless.
50 insects for Zadokai.
Okay.
104 for
tokens?
Thaler.
50 is enough.
Exactly 50.
Yeah.
This
So
dragon
that makes
is-
him 104. Okay.
There's the
let's do
Predator
this one.
dragon.
I'm gonna go.
If he eats all the insects and some collection of elves, he can have the biggest dragon.
54.
And I don't. At 480, he actually took the lead on life. 4 Essence Wardens to 2. He managed to catch up and pass him.
So that's. Yeah, that'd be 50. 54.
So Zadokai played the Predator Dragon. He drew off of his glimpses. He's got 4 cards left in his library. So Thaler is the one who's scheduled to get decked, assuming Zadokai stops playing creatures, which he knows to do. So Zadokai is trying to figure out exactly what to sacrifice.
57.
He's got 50 insect tokens.
114.
He's got a collection of elves. He will have the biggest, baddest Predator Dragon on the table.
And then you know what he's going to do?
Block with it?
Plus
Yes.
4?
And deck his
118?
opponent? Yes. That's what 120 power dragons are for. Decking your opponent.
You have millions of tokens, right?
Yeah, 104.
Funnily enough, the way the game could end
I think
is
I win.
Thaler could forget to pay for the Summoner's Pack that
I
he
think
played
I win
about an
because
hour
I just,
ago.
I have one big. I can always untap it to block yours, so I don't get the damage. You don't have a symbiote. And
He's
I
got a
can
bead
al-
on top of his
I can
library. He'll
control
probably remember.
myself With untapping with symbiotes, I can block you in a lot of insects. So I don't think.
I mean, realistically, Thaler will also. I mean, if
played out.
if he has no outs, he'll concede and move on, I suspect.
Okay, fair enough. So 57, 58, 59. 50,
Oh.
Yeah.
Zadokai has asked for the concession. So do we have to play this
One more
out?
token.
Thaler has said yes.
59. So it's 59 times
So
2.
many insects have been eaten.
20,
Many elves have been eaten.
118? Yeah, 118 plus 4, 1, it's 132.
How big is the dragon?
How much did we say?
It's okay.
Yeah, I think I think it can win. Because I have 4 cards, you have 3.
Yeah,
so.
that's right.
Big enough.
Good job.
Big enough.
Yeah, I think he made a mistake. I think he tried to go off to
Thaler scoops him up. I still want to count. How big was the dragon?
Yeah, the third glimpse, he drew 2, and I have the third warden, so.
Just big enough. 118, 118.
Yeah, exactly.
The 118 size dragon trumps the 116.
Court, so.
And Matai Zadokai takes a 1-0 lead.
Dragon ever?
Wow.
So the title goes to me.
I have a second dragon.
All right, we should go check out the denouement of the Saito Scott Vargas match. So, back on table number 1, Luis Scott Vargas got single glimpse, double metal sentinel, and made a bunch of elves. He did have to ship the turn. He was not able to combo out, But Saito's got not much going on. Just a Birchler Ranger and a blocker. So forces game 5. Luis Scott Vargas has forced game 5. 8-ish elves and an attack or two was all it took to get it done.
And a couple of thought seizes along the way.
Yeah, Thoughtseize was able to strip the key cards out of Saito's hand. Glimpse was able to give him enough card advantage that he was just swarmed him with elves. And so Luis Scott Vargas and Tomohiro Saito go to game 5. One of these guys will be playing for the Pro Tour Berlin title. 40 grand, 25 pro points, a title. Saito looking to win a second Pro Tour.
Right, he won. He's looking for his first individual.
Was part of the Charleston winning team. Saito contemplating his sideboard options. Luis just shuffling up. Luis got to feel confident. This is the same thing that happened to him in the quarterfinals, right?
Yeah.
Fell behind, quick 2-0, quick 0-2,
and just didn't look like he was
the games were just blowouts.
Yeah. I mean, he hasn't felt like he was advantaged in either matchup, so.
It's a really level head, though.
Had to have the sense that he was playing
fall
with house
behind,
money.
Playing with house money, I guess. I mean, he falls behind 0-2. He's dog anyway.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm impressed. I mean, win or lose, game 5, you got to give it to Luis Scott Vargas. Clearly at the top of his game, at the top of the sport, really.
Oh, he's waited this long to get to a Pro Tour top 8. He's going to get maximum amount of games every round.
Yeah, luckily it's maximum amount of games, not the maximum amount of time.
That would be impossible.
Yeah, Toller lost that crazy matchup in the quarters. No, Toller won it. Right. Toller was on the winning end in the quarterfinals. Got game 1, 3, and 5. Yeah, we had 116 power dragon losing to 118 power dragon, but combined they're still smaller than Toller's quarterfinal dragon.
I feel guilty even mentioning them.
Guilty even mentioning them. They aren't 278.
Yes. Get a little face slapping going on from Saito now. He gets himself in the game to try to put himself in a position to play in the finals of a Pro Tour, get his first individual win. Saw those guys going to their sideboard for game 5. I'm wondering if they had any kind of last-minute second thoughts about their strategies, brought in anything. Wonder if Luis has gone to the cheat days at all. Can't imagine that he has. The thought season seemed to work out pretty well for him the last couple games.
Yeah.
Sounds like he's just left his configuration that way.
So Saito's going first. Saito has the pocket advantage. Still kind of like Tomohiro Saito to win this game and go to the finals.
LSD just has to have the he has the momentum right now.
No, thank
I
you.
know we don't talk about momentum.
I was going to say, how important is momentum a legitimate thing in Magic?
I think that certainly confidence, you when you're looking at, you're making your mulligan decisions, I mean, it certainly can contribute to your decision-making process. I mean, it obviously can't affect the cards you draw, but can it affect your decisions about the cards you draw?
Oh, Saito. Head in his hands. He knows what's at stake here. People in the crowd slapping themselves in the face, too. So one lander for Saito.
Deck doesn't need that much more than that.
No, you could win off one land. But he has the Predator Dragon in his hand.
That's more of a problem. Although
Yeah.
he does have other win conditions in his deck.
Right, and you can cast it on First Floor Ranger, but now essentially Predator Dragon is a blank. So you got to look at the other 6 and compare them to the average 6-card hand.
Wait.
Nope, cashes it in. The crowd applauds, but
The crowd being largely the super team.
yeah. So tell that story again for those who may not have heard it before. Luis Scott Vargas has been in Germany for weeks now, right?
Right? Yeah, he's working with Paul Cheon, Patrick Chapin, Manuel Boucher. I'm just counting them out as I see them
Around the
here.
crowd.
Olivier Ruel, Antoine Ruel, the Guillaumes, Guillaume Montagnon and Guillaume Wafatafa.
That's a lot of Magic talent.
Yeah, it's and their hard work is obviously present at this table.
Yep. I've heard Manuel Boucher giving credit for being the sort of the networker who kind of put the whole team together and brought them together. The Elves deck, they showed up with a build of the Elves deck that they were really excited about, fine-tuned it. Chapin went off in a different direction, though. Chapin played a sort of next-level gift, blue control. Made some money, finished about, 50th at the tournament. So, I mean, he was hanging out on, table numbers in the teens for most of Saturday. Never quite top 8 contention. Guillaume Wafatafa was the other guy who wandered off. I saw him at the breakfast buffet about 10 a.m. Saturday morning.
Yeah,
it was just shocking. That's not where you expect to see Guillaume Wafatafa on a Pro Tour weekend.
That is an upset.
Yes. All right, Saito draws up a 6-card hand. Looks like a keeper.
LSV
Oh, Luis is not happy about his. But keeps.
But he keeps.
All right, Forest Heritage Druid for Saito.
It's like a Nettle Sentinel, maybe.
Snow-covered forest. Heritage Druid. And there's the Hive Master. Key difference between the decks is Saito with the Hive Master Court of Calling plan. LSV is just a little bit faster instead.
Yep.
Nettle Sentinel comes down on turn 2 for Luis Scott Vargas, followed by
Please look at
Elves of Deep Shadow. And that will give Saito a couple of insect tokens off his Hive Master. That's 3 elves, which is enough for Heritage Druid.
We're going to see a glimpse here.
Oh. Glimpse, untapping Nettle Sentinel. 2 mana floating, 1 mana floating. There's another Heritage Druid.
There's the Symbiote.
And the Symbiote. Luis got the turn 2 kill in his hand. Symbiote untaps.
Wait.
The problem with the turn 2 kill here is obviously
Cord for Pontiff in the middle.
Cord for Pontiff before a Storm is lethal. The crew is definitely cheering for a turn 2 kill. In our
This
views.
match doesn't matter to the length of the semis. It's all about the back table.
3. Because first turn, you...
We saw Saito with a turn 2 kill in game 1.
Sorry, you are sorry.
Luis going for it now. He's got 1 glimpse of effect. He's got a Heritage Druid. So he's got a decent amount of mana.
I'm talking.
He has enough to Cord for Pontiff right now.
Well, you would just do it now, right? Rather than wait?
Wait.
Yeah, especially against the Grape Shot version.
Yeah.
It's not like he needs those creatures in play later. He just needs to blow everybody up before things get out of control.
Okay.
Luis looking over. I think now is when he finds out whether Saito has Court of Calling or not. Pretty much no. I mean, Saito just declined the opportunity to Cord, right?
Yeah.
If he had enough, he would have gone for it there. Would have killed everything. Luis Scott Vargas, ladies and gentlemen, turn 2, built his deck to be as fast as he possibly could. Built his deck to go off on the second turn. And now here he is, game 5 of the semis. An advantage he self-described himself as an underdog in. And his opponent's Hive Master is spitting out a bunch of Pro Tour player cards as insect tokens. But they're not going to get it done.
There's another Hive Master.
Basically just needs to find the Grape Shot at this point, right?
Another Symbiote, I should say, sorry.
Symbiote will help make sure he doesn't run out of gas. Is there a Birchlore Ranger yet?
There is.
So he needs Birchlore Ranger for red mana, which he's got. Just needs to find Grape Shot.
Yep.
And there's another Heritage Druid. I guess he's probably not got 20 Storm yet either.
Well, he doesn't have to get to the full 20. If he gets, he can get up to around 10, and then if he gets
Eternal Witness.
Eternal Witness, he can finish him off.
Yep.
Go to 3. Play this. Untap.
Okay. Yep.
There's another Heritage Druid.
Okay.
Continues to draw cards. He's got mana floating. There's another Nettle Sentinel. That means he can pretty much cast everything now. He's not going to run out of mana.
5 mana.
Yeah.
Untap. 3.
Seems like Saito, there's Elvish Visionary. 2 cards off this one.
Okay.
Saito pretty much knows he's done at this point, I think. LSV's hand only has 1 creature in it, though.
6 mana. Play. Untap. Now.
There's Birchlore Ranger.
Drop.
Yep.
Draws a Birchlore Ranger.
Okay.
Just needs to not fizzle. Needs to keep going until he finds his Grape Shot.
Play. Go to 7.
Okay.
Another Birchlore. Has he used both Symbiotes already? He has, right?
There's a Summoner.
Oh, there's Summoner's Pact. Summoner's Pact gets what? Visionary? Or Symbiote?
Could get Regal Force, right?
Does he have Regal Force in that build?
He does. He's counting up his spells.
Yep.
Yep.
There
that's
is the Regal Force.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. He has 14, 15 cards to either draw more fuel or the Grape Shot.
There's the Thoughtseize. Just to make sure there's nothing going on. Sees Forest in Kamahara Saito's hand. Wow, Orzhov Pontev sure looked a lot better on paper, but in practice, Thoughtseize has gotten the job done. Luis Scott Vargas is going to get to draw 14 cards, did you figure out?
14 or 15.
15. 15 cards. And, oh, by the way, any elves that he finds, he gets to use to draw cards.
And a 16th card from the Glimpse of Nature.
And the 16th card from the Glimpse of Nature, yes. I don't see the Grape Shot yet, but it's just a formality at this point. Handful of gas, just a matter of digging for a Grape Shot.
Okay.
Yet another Nettle Sentinel. Draws a... LSV's showing his hand. It's like, I've got it. You really want to make me play it out? Look at all these monsters. Alright, fine. Saito smiles. He knows he's beat, but he's right. There's no reason to concede here.
10. Go to 8.
Yep.
There it is. There's the handshake. Wow. Luis Scott Vargas of the United States, trying to make it a clean sweep of 3 Pro Tours for the US of A. He's the only American in this top 8. He barely snuck in. 8th place on tiebreakers. Needed some help in the last round to get there, but here he sits.
0-2-3-0. 0-2-3-0.
Wow. Looked like a bad quarterfinal matchup. He comes back to win games 3, 4, and 5. Looked like a bad semifinal matchup, but he comes back to win games 3, 4, and 5. After sideboarding, where Saito seems to have the advantage. Wow. Hats off to you. Luis Scott Vargas will be playing for the Pro Tour Berlin Championship Trophy for $40,000 for 25 pro points. And, you know, a spot in Magic history.
Yeah, speaking of Magic history, we just had a parade of, like, Magic players go. Manuel B., Olivier Ruel, Paul Cheon.
Yeah, they're pretty excited for their boy. That's, you know, being part of a team, it really makes the game a lot more fun. Everybody can feel like they get to live vicariously through them. They all worked on this deck together. You know, they all have a role in this victory. Question is, who's going to play against him? Is it going to be Sebastian Thaler, the local German player? Is it going to be Matej Zadokai from the Slovak Republic? We know it'll be an elf deck. We know it'll, in fact, be a Predator Dragon elf deck. Hive Master, Cord, Predator Dragon. Looked like the right build on paper, and coming in.
LSD must have just walked down the stairs.
Yep, Luis has come down to watch his opponents play on the big screen, hang out with his buddies. All right, meanwhile, this is game 2. Zadokai is up 1-0.
It looks like just where we left off.
He has Nettle Sentinel, Essence Warden, Heritage Druid, Hive Master, and 3 insects. He's got Glimpse in the bin.
Excuse me, guys.
Yep.
Just consult with the head judge. We need to resolve all the triggers as they happen. So, recording how many creatures per
It's faster that way. We did it before and it worked better. We only start kind of differently when another Hive Master and another Essence Warrior comes to play. Because that's the only thing
It
that
looks like
changes
they're
now.
talking about their method of bookkeeping for insect
Doesn't play
tokens
one of the 2 creatures. It's just the same.
with the judge.
Yeah. We did last time. I played Landmark. I drew cards.
Yep.
And I have 2 masters.
Glimpse is in effect.
3.
Zadokai trying to go off here. Thaler has, what, 2 Hive Masters and a bunch of insects of his own?
Did you count this one?
Yeah, it looks like 2 Hive Masters.
Okay, fair enough.
So 3 times I get 6 tokens.
Elvis
I
Champion.
get 3 tokens.
11.
6. So I have 6. I just got 6 tokens. No,
And that's only 1 Hive Master.
Yeah, I just-
Once again for Zadokai.
Yep, Thaler once again with double Hive Master, so he's growing insects a little faster.
Fair enough.
But Zadokai's got the Essence
you
Warden.
got
Essence Warden going.
Yeah, I get 6.
Which Thaler does not, that's right.
Right?
Life?
Yeah, 9.
Now, if Thaler had Cord,
I can
probably
still
would have
play.
already gone to get a Pontiff, right?
I think so.
Seems like he would wipe out the Hive Masters and the Essence Warden
41?
Yeah.
sooner rather than later. Therefore, I think you can pretty much conclude that Thaler does not have Court of Calling in his
41,
hand.
still 2 mana left. 1 mana left. I just gained
Symbiote for Zadokai.
draw card.
41 life and counting.
So right now he's just. So you feel like he's digging for the cord here and feels pretty comfortable that he's got it. Zadokai's got this taken care of. If he can find a cord, he can just win then.
I think so.
Okay.
Although would there be any value, do you think, to responding to the cord with your cord for
Slow roll the Pontiff, wait
slow
for the
roll
Cord.
Pontiff? Yeah.
I'll take this one. Use this.
Interesting.
3 mana.
Yeah. Get a 6/6 dragon.
That's 1. Yep. Draw card. Yeah, it's done.
It's not crazy, because you're accumulating insects along the way.
Right. You actually have a pretty impressive board when that's all said and done.
Right. There's a dragon that you're not going to die to on the other side. So if Tyler waits and chords the response to Zadokai's chord for 6, then he could wipe out everything except the Nettle Sentinels.
Right. Court of Calling really seems to be the card, thing that turns this from a combo deck into a control matchup.
Mm-hmm.
This guy, and 2 guys.
So we can't see it from this camera view, but and we've talked about it. The 3 guys working together, sort of not all at the same time, but sort of working in a line, one to the other. Martin Hughes is sitting there watching his friend Zadokai
Play his other friend.
play his other friend.
Yeah, Zadokai and Yuza have known each other for years.
Yeah, they said they talk every day.
They've been playing together for 5 or 10 years. I think the Tyler-Yuza friendship, a little more recent, but I mean, 2 up-and-comers on the Pro Tour that obviously have a ton of respect for each other and work together for this event.
Pretty formidable pairing, obviously.
Yes, no question.
Red.
Goblin Sharpshooter for Zadokai.
No, just 1. Sorry.
Oh, there's Elvish Champion in play.
Just counts as life.
Pontiff doesn't actually kill
Pontiff,
a lot
right?
of stuff,
You are correct.
Yeah, so
Pontiff
we
just
all-
kills insects.
Why don't we resolve them all now? And then
Yeah,
which
well,
is not good
let's-
enough.
we'll resolve these first.
It kills Goblin Sharpshooter now.
4 tokens.
Sure.
I get 2 tokens.
Sharpshooter is capable of taking down all the insects.
Sure. I go back to my original point, though. I think that's all the more... Well, Pontiff doesn't help.
6 tokens total. So again, 6 life.
Tyler could have corded out a Canonist, in theory.
Sure.
Yeah, plus the sharpshooter.
I think the point is, if he had the cord, he would have used it already.
But you had talked me into slow rolling it, but the champion screws it all up.
Yeah.
You have to take mana burn? Probably. Yeah, 40. Your turn.
What would you compare this combo deck to? Like in terms of decks of the past?
Wow, he says go. Zadokai passes the turn. Doesn't look real happy about it.
I was really hoping he'd find his cord there, I guess.
He's got a pretty formidable board. Behind on insects, but he does have the sharpshooter.
But if
He
he-
does
well, if he
have
gets
48
If
life.
he gets to untap, he kills all the insects.
Yeah, if he gets to untap, he can kill all the insects and I would assume just attack for the win.
Horizon Canopy just got cycled from play, so...
Yeah, Tyler's pretty desperate here, right? He's got to win now.
Well, he's... I don't know how many insects we have on... Yep, yeah, that's game
6, but there's good enough. Wow.
That's exactly
So, Zadokai wins game 2. He's now up 2 games to 0. 1 game away from the sweep that would send him through to the finals to play against LSV. Zadokai looking pretty confident.
He seemed pretty confident. Again, when his friend lost in the quarterfinals, he got up. He knew it was time to go up and get the lunch, and he walked by the booth and he looked in and he said, "He's going down." Yeah, he gave me the wrestler, the wrestling shtick.
I don't know, Zadokai wasn't the guy I expected to be in the finals out of this field.
But he was the guy you expected to win when...
This match, it's true.
It's true. Oh, it's funny. We were just talking about the... Court of Calling.
Yes.
So I forgot.
Oh, Tyler's the one who doesn't even have
It
Pontiff.
just seems so logical that he would have Pontiff.
He thought, yeah, that's right. Tyler doesn't even have it. Tyler does have Canonist.
Canonist is about the only thing he could have gotten.
Right. So, right, somewhere in that game 1 marathon, I lost track of what was going on. Sebastian Tyler did not expect to play this mirror matchup.
No.
He thought, this elf deck is awesome. I'm going to play this elf deck. I think I can go deep in this Pro Tour with this elf deck, but it's going to be a field full of Zoo, and the people who aren't playing Zoo are probably going to have islands in their deck. So I'm going to board Choke. He knew about, he and his team had done the survey of every card that's legal and extended. They came up with Goblin Sharpshooter as mirror match technology. They came up with Orzhov Pontiff as mirror match technology. And his teammates had various numbers of various of those cards in their decks, but Tyler just wanted to make sure he could beat everybody else. So, does not have mirror match technology. Now he sits down 2-0, and gotta believe Matai Zadokai is going to be sitting in the finals playing against LSV.
Zadokai was obviously. I mean, how much of that is, maybe like you see this great deck and the top players find a great deck and they're like, we found a great deck, no one else will find it. Someone like Zadokai, who maybe is a little less experienced on the Pro Tour,
yeah,
he gets the great deck and he's like, oh my god, everyone's gonna find it.
Zadokai's like, if I can find it, then everybody else can too.
Possibly. I mean, again, it was.
I don't know. He knows he's networked into some really good players. He must know that. We were talking about it, like even going in though, we called it the beginning of the day. Like I think in our opening, we referred to it as the worst kept secret.
That's true.
Right? So you were asking me what deck would I compare this to? It's got to be Academy from Rome. I mean, I think that's the most, because Urza Saga had just come out and everybody was sort of working off their own little silos, but everybody found Academy. It wasn't that hard to piece it together, right?
Just gonna. Nothing should be banned.
But it looks like Academy. Academy and Necropotence.
The two comparisons we've made.
Our Academy and Necropotence. Like, well, they didn't ban Academy after that tournament. They should have. So, well, they didn't ban Time Spiral, which is what they really should have banned. It turned into a high tide format.
Sure.
Point being, going into Rome, not everybody had the Academy deck. I mean, it was not sort of generally known. It wasn't out there on the internet. If you weren't practicing for the format, you probably didn't know about it. But pretty much every team that knew what they were doing had found an Academy deck, or at least found, like, a Time Spiral Windfall deck. There were actually a couple of different builds you could go that way, right? You could have, there were High Tide variants that just used the Time Spiral engine. There was actually, like, a Windfall variant. But people kind of knew what was up, and so... yeah, that was a format where I think you did have to prepare for the mirror. You did have to have a sense of what was going on. Like we had 4 Wastelands in our Academy deck because we wanted to be able to kill the other guy's Academy,
right? Specifically
for the mirror matchup. I mean, a lot of the teams that advanced had not just great decks against the field, but great decks for the mirror as well.
And was Academy as big a percentage of the field in Rome as like Elves was here?
It's probably pretty similar.
I know it was.
Academy might have been bigger.
I know it was easily as big a part of the top 8, right? It's like.
Yeah.
It's like 5 or 6 decks in the top 8 were Academy.
No, you played it. You ran into it a lot deep on day 2. You ran into Academy. You ran into the occasional anti-Academy deck. I don't know, but so I think it's tough. Like, do you sideboard for the mirror? There's certainly been plenty of events where we'd be playtesting and, you just ignore the mirror. Like, this is this kind of roguish deck. We don't think other people are going to play anything quite like this, so no, it'd be stupid for us to waste sideboard cards against each other.
Right.
Right. And there is a little bit of that. Like, you've got a team that's all going in mass to play the same deck, and you don't want to waste sideboard cards so that you can beat your friends.
Right. You're like, our team has this.
Mm-hmm.
And so we'll fight fair if we play each other.
Pretty much. Or fight random, however you want to look at it. I don't know, though. It seemed like wandering around on Thursday, everybody had this deck. I think you had to sideboard for the mirror here.
Oh, again, people were coming up to us at the player party, and they're like, "Do you have any of these?" And they're showing me a glimpse of nature, and I'm like, "No," and nobody has them. Everyone's been looking for them.
Right.
It was obviously, again, everyone got here on Thursday and thought they had something all their own. And it's interesting, like the Magic League definitely seems to have been a little bit of a league. The Belgians got a deck from there.
Mm-hmm.
The Japanese got their deck from there. Maybe everyone thinks that no one else is checking the same sources.
Sure, but I mean, you also had Alan Comer playing most of the engine in Standard, in public, at Hollywood, getting featured in a deck, right?
And it's funny because if you talk to a lot of people about the origins of the deck,
okay,
there is some point where they had Distant Melody in the deck, or Roar of the Crowd in the deck, or something like that as the
Which
finisher.
is how Comer had the Standard version set up.
Right. So there's obviously some connection back to Alan Comer's Standard version in Hollywood.
That's off to the Hall of
And,
Famer.
and
That's
to
pretty.
Tsuyoshi Fujita, who has also played an elf deck. I think even before that, using Heritage Druid.
Oh, sure. Yeah, a couple Hall of Famers really found some of the core elements of this engine. Bunch of teams honed it. Luis Scott Vargas, who does not have sideboard cards for the mirror, will be in the finals. Will be playing to win this.
What does Thaler, another player without sideboard cards in the mirror, need to do to overcome an 0-2 hole?
Rattle off 3 in a row.
But what does he need to do to do that? I can't see him coming out of this.
I mean, LSV pulled it off.
But LSV's deck is faster.
True. It's true, but, I mean, Toller's a great player. It's not inconceivable.
Oh, of course not.
I agree, though, that because LSV's deck is set up a little bit differently, like, maybe the Grape Shot version just is better, right? Maybe Hive Master, Symbiote, Essence Warden, maybe they're just kind of too much, too messy, not consistent enough. I mean, that's been the theory that Super Team has been telling the whole weekend. They've just eschewed the Predator Dragon build.
Right.
You know, I've seen Luis saying, yeah, this Chord of Callings are really good against me. I'm going to lose to Hive Master and spit all these tokens and do this Chord thing. Like, it could just be the sort of standard self-effacing, you know, woe is me, I'm going to lose that LSV uses to motivate himself.
Yeah.
I don't know. I certainly came into this top 8 believing Predator Dragon was clearly the better build, but
But I mean, it's also
two match victories from Luis.
The deck's so powerful, just the core of the deck is so powerful that whatever deck you watched last, you know I went back and forth all weekend. I was like, oh my god, the Grape Shot deck is so amazing. Wow, the Mirror Entity version is awesome.
Right.
Oh, Predator Dragon's the top deck, so.
It's true. Players are shuffling up, getting ready for Game 3 of the semifinal between Zadokai and Toller.
It looks like Toller is going to start off at a one-card disadvantage in what is his decided game. We're gonna cut down to the action, which is already 2 Llanowar Elves in play.
Yeah, we'll be down there momentarily. Oh, sounds like here we go.
All right. You're looking at
Toller is on the left of your screen. Zadokai is on the right of your screen. Each player played turn 1 Forest Llanowar Elf. Toller in an 0-2 hole, so going first in this game. It's now his second turn.
And I believe he started down a card.
Both players playing the Elf Ball deck. Trying to explode with Metal Sentinel, Birchlore Ranger, Heritage Druid
There's a
shenanigans.
Thoughtseize.
Here comes Thoughtseize, yep. That tended to be the sideboard card that if you did not have Mirror Match Hate, you probably had something more generic like Thoughtseize. It's interesting that it could be Thoughtseize in the finals if Toller comes back.
Look at Aethersworn Canonist, Goblin Sharpshooter, 2 Sunboats, and
Heritage Druid. So nothing but green mana. He can leave the Canonist and the Sharpshooter there, but it's clearly risky should Zadokai draw Birchlore Ranger and or Whitelands.
Yep.
Sharpshooter. Alright, can't risk the Sharpshooter. Can't risk a Birchlore Ranger draw. So, Toller deprives him of the Sharpshooter. Now what? There's a Heritage Druid. There's a Symbiote. And could play out more. Maybe another Symbiote.
Yep.
No, that's an attack.
I haven't seen them do very much of that. It's just interesting how Zadokai can just play out all his cards into Thaler without having to really worry about any kind of Pontiff.
Good card.
That just really changes the way you play.
Yeah. Oh, Sebastian has got the Brain Freeze in his hand. That's pretty interesting. glimpse from Zadokai, so Zadokai is off to the races.
Three green.
And Tyler has slumped back in his chair, put his hand face down on the table.
3 green, 2 green.
He's got one land, he's got 2 elves, one of which is a Birchfloor Ranger.
Draw
And
card.
he is doing his best to telegraph weakness.
Untap.
That's kind of interesting watching.
There's going to come a point where Zadokai is going to ask for a concession, and Tyler's going to say, play it out, please. Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Draw.
Llanowar Elf, draw a card.
Mana left.
Llanowar Elf, draw a card. Zadokai's got to be feeling good.
Does he feel too good? Possibly.
We shall see. 3 mana from Heritage Druid.
Tap. Return.
Symbiote,
Untap.
untaps 1 Llanowar Elf, picks up the other.
Two mana. Draw card.
If you get to draw a card from the elf before.
No.
Face.
Draws a card from Horizon Canopy.
Looks like you picked up another symbiote.
Draw card.
That's worth a card.
No mana. Untap this guy. This guy.
Taps the Heritage Druid and picks up an elf, so he's now used, I believe, all 3 symbiotes.
Yes.
3 mana.
3 more mana from Heritage Druid.
Draw card.
Llanowar Elf.
It's 3, 2.
There's an Essence Ward.
Essence Ward.
1 left.
There's an Edelson.
1 left.
We're already getting dangerously close to.
3 mana.
Heritage Druid.
Free territory.
Tyler's rooting for Zadokai. Please don't fizzle. Please don't fizzle.
Yeah, you gain 1 life for this and this. Draw cards. 1 left.
Zadokai playing pretty quick.
So we've gone through, I think, 14 spells so far.
One mana left.
Which is 28 cards. 30 cards on Brain Freeze.
It's 4.
Three more mana. And a pact.
Yeah, we're getting life. Can you?
Untap. That'll settle.
I'm plus 2, plus 3 now.
Yeah. He's going to draw 2 more here.
2 more?
Well, he draws a card for it. He draws the Birchfloor Ranger.
Oh, sure.
Quote unquote draws. Then draws a card with the Birchfloor Ranger.
He's keeping track of my life. 3 mana. Play this. Draw card. It's 3 mana.
Now, what is Zadokai up to? Is he looking at Canonist?
Playing Aethersworn Canonist.
Why is he playing the Aethersworn Canonist? What does that do?
Well, it prevents... It locks him out from catching up. I'm not sure if it prevents him from putting storm copies on the stack. I don't think it does, but...
Tyler is reading it intently. Is Zadokai going to pass the turn?
Okay.
Why not?
Did he actually stop in time? To not get Brain Freeze down? Does anybody actually know what the storm count is?
So how much plus they cost this? How much life am I at?
I mean, Zadokai can't play any more spells, right? Because of his Canonist?
Oh, correct.
Should be okay. Mana burn for 2. Oh, okay.
It might not be enough.
Oh, okay. It was.
I'm going to be very impressed if Zadokai has managed to build up a giant board position, ice the game with Canonist, and not get decked by the brain freeze that his opponent might have. I think Zadokai knows what's going on, too. Now he's counting. How many spells actually got played?
Well, you count the Wireward
Yeah,
symbiotes
he's count the
twice.
symbiotes twice.
There was a Llanowar Elf in play at the start of this turn.
I had more. He had more on turn 1.
Yeah,
Is that right?
I
Yeah, is that all it was?
I had
This is turn 3. It's more than
Druid
Llanowar.
turn 2. And this is turn 3.
Yeah. So you play 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Then you bounce 3 times.
Yeah, 13, 14, 15. Right?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
They believe they're at 15. Zadokai is counting his library. I think he's got more than 30. I think he actually managed to play around Brain Freeze and ice the game with a Canonist.
35.
What's the count?
So,
Do you have brain freeze?
for blue.
There's the Brain Freeze.
Now he reads it to make sure.
So,
This one Canonist does prevent the storm copies from going on the stack.
Really?
I don't know. Is that what? That's what Zadokai's saying. I don't think it does.
Well, I already gained life and stuff so I can play.
Do you play the copies?
But, I mean, yeah, I mean, if it...
You're kidding.
You're checking with the judges.
Well, if Tyler declines to respond to the spell, that's insane. Wow. They're picking him up. Rich, what happened? Who won, Rich? They're shuffling, so I gotta believe Sebastian Tyler won. All right.
Right?
Yeah.
45 cards. That was the ball game. Sebastian Tyler brain freezes his way to a Game 3 victory.
Okay. That was pretty funny. There was some confusion over whether or not the Aethersworn Canonist prevented the storm copies. Fowler read the card. Zadokai read the card.
We are going to Game 4. Zadokai went off with his combo deck, but Sebastian Tyler had a brain freeze sitting in his hand. Leaned back, tried to look as weak as possible, with Birchlore Ranger, Llanowar Elf, and Forest untapped.
Yeah, they get put on the stack.
I'll play first.
Wow, that was... I was reasonably certain they were put on the stack, but... Yeah. The storm count was 15, and Brain Freeze mills 3 cards per act. It was a 45. It was a mill for 45 cards, well in excess. There were about 30 cards left in his library. Wow. Zadokai.
Not looking quite as confident now.
I didn't think I would...
He had that Canonist the whole time. Like, he could have done that play sooner.
Right.
He probably knows that. I mean, obviously he built up a board position, tried to ice it with Canonist, went too far, right? If he plays 5 fewer spells,
Right.
probably 10 creatures plus
Or-
10 creatures,
or-
including a Canonist.
Or
It's good enough.
Or finds Chord Predator. Well, if he chords Predator Dragons, he's going to get his deck melted away anyway. So.
Yeah. Right. I mean, it'll be as a response to Core to knock the
Yeah.
dragon into the graveyard.
Yeah.
The only way for Zadokai to play around Brain Freeze there is
To play the Canonist.
to play it the way that he did, just with 5 fewer spells. Right. Like, giant board advantage, ice the game with Canonist, but don't bring decking into play via Brain Freeze. That's his...
Right. I mean, it's a 1-0, right, for Thaler? Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's not insane that Zadokai would just go for it despite the possibility of that happening. I mean, ideally, he knows the deck list, so he knows it's in Thaler's deck. So, okay, there's one card that can beat you here. Ideally, you think about it, figure out, is there a way that I can win the game while also playing around Brain Freeze? The answer might easily be no. Like, he could easily have concluded, he's got the Brain Freeze, he's got me, but that's my only way to win the game. I don't actually buy that. Like, because of the Canonist's ability to ice the board advantage...
Just ice the game. If he's got a creature advantage, then he just locks Thaler out from being able to do the things his deck does.
Right.
And he cannot get back in. And he can attack for 10, attack for 9, attack for 8.
Right. So, Thaler's sideboard, Mize is a game. He is on the scoreboard in this semifinal, but he's got to rattle off 2 more if he wants to face LSV in the finals. Turn 1, Llanowar Elf for Zadokai. Turn 1, Heritage Druid for Thaler. Horizon Canopy comes down.
Kettle Sentinel. Birchlar Rangers. Wirewood Symbiote. Theoretically, he could...
I think that's a glimpse yet, though.
I'm saying theoretically, he could just Canonist this game.
Sure.
And then he has Symbiote to protect block. No, that's not going to work. He'll eventually get attritioned out.
Doesn't look like he's done. He's going to use the Symbiote. Returns Birchlar Ranger, untaps Llanowar Elves. Replays Birchlar Ranger. What does that do? There's no Glimpse and no Hive Master, and no Essence Warden. I don't see the point.
I think he's going to play the Canonist.
Oh, he's got Canonist in his hand?
Yeah.
Huh. Nope. Oh, it shifts the turn.
Just says go.
Okay, why not play Canonist there?
I guess because if he draws his key cards to winning, going off, he's not going to be able to use them. And he doesn't have enough of a board position that he can attack for the win.
Why not? Against one Heritage Druid?
I was wondering, well, he still gets to play 1 spell per turn.
Right.
Opponent.
Yeah, but Symbiote...
He just doesn't have... He's going to have a creature probably to play every turn. He's got a handful of cards.
Right.
He's out of cards. So
Maybe. But he's going to be picking up with Symbiote.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah, Symbiote for Thaler. Would have been a weird game if you go on the Canonist there, that's for sure. Would have been some different magic. I just don't see what Zadokai's win is. Like, having declined the Canonist play, now what? Now he's got a hand with a Canonist in it and no other action.
Right.
So how does he win from there?
Right.
Seems like he's better off playing a Canonist game. Pair of Symbiotes for Thaler, and he ships the turn.
Looks like he has
True
drawn
Pontiff.
Pontiff.
Pontiff off the top. That's the card we've been describing as the biggest difference between these decks and the biggest advantage that Zadokai has is the fact that he can court up a Pontiff. Well, he just drew it off the top, and he's got Birchlar Ranger in play. So he can play it here. He can just hard cast it. Kill, kill, kill. Well, Thaler will save the Heritage Druid, but he can basically play his Pontiff, kill 2 Symbiotes, and force Thaler to pick up the Heritage Druid. So he'd leave Thaler with no permanents in play other than 2 forests. I think that's the play. Does he have enough mana to do that and then drop Canonist? I don't think he does.
No, he doesn't.
It's close with the symbiote. I think his other card was I saw was the Summoner's Pact too.
Sorry, I just need a moment.
He's trying to figure out how to make this.
Yeah, the mana here is complicated because he needs a black. Well, he can get the white off the Horizon Canopy.
Right.
But then he needs a second white if you want the Canonist.
Okay.
That black, white, and one?
That's black, white, and one.
This is.
He decided not to get tricky with it.
Seems fine.
Black, white.
Yep, there's the Pontiff. Tyler does indeed pick up the Heritage Druid and ship his 2 symbiotes to the bin.
Get in. 3.
2, apparently. I don't know why, yeah, he's like, why is this symbiote sitting here untapped? None of us know either, Matai.
Do I need having one of them?
Yeah, okay, fair enough. Okay.
Alright.
Switch my hand.
Picks up Birchlore Ranger. Recasts it in order to untap Nettle Sentinel.
Go.
Ships the turn.
Probably see him play either Sworn Cannon this next turn.
Yeah, he's really close to being able to do it right there, but couldn't quite.
We're on 17.
Oh,
Is that Elvis Champion?
that is an Elvis champion.
Is that good?
I don't see how.
He just gave all of the elves on both
2,
sides
4, 7.
+1/+1 and Forest Walk. Why is that good?
I'd play the Canonist now for sure.
Tyler must have a terrible draw. I mean, this looks like the kind of play where it's time to see if your opponent's going to mess up. Maybe you can confuse him. Maybe he doesn't realize. He'll think you can block.
Get a glimpse. That's the red zone. Yes, that's attack for 5 Forest Walk.
Attack for 5 Forest Walk. I think Ether Sworn Canonist looks pretty good here. Glimpse. And the Canonist.
Yep.
Well, at least draw the card off your Glimpse. If you're going to cycle it, then you should actually cycle it. I do not see how Tyler comes back from this. Can he even kill a Canonist?
No.
Yeah, I didn't think so.
Unless he has... Let's see. He has Sundering Vitae in his board. He has Viridian Shaman. And he has a Viridian Shaman main. I don't know if he's playing those or not. Afterboard. Oh, he should have brought one in here, obviously, if you saw the cannon.
Yeah, he did see the Canonist last game. Is that a Summoner's Pact in his hand? Looks like Llanowar, Birchlore, Heritage.
He doesn't have enough mana.
No, he can't Pact and do it, and he can't pay for Pact without putting another mana into play.
I guess he could play land. No, he could play land. I mean, Heritage Druid, Llanowar Elf.
Hey, there's a Canonist in play, Brian.
Yeah, no, he's Yeah, he can't pack it all, but
Right.
he's just called. He has to rip. It's a pretty ridiculous sequence of cards.
Yeah. Llanowar Elf. Okay, that's my spell for the turn. Go.
Take 7 back. I'm gonna crack back.
Yeah, Orzhov Pontiff came in, deprived him of those 2 symbiotes. Canonist came in and iced the game. Matai Zadokai looking good to head to the finals where Luis Scott Vargas awaits. Hive Master.
Take 7.
Take 7. That'll drop Tyler to 5. All those elves have Forest Walk thanks to Tyler's Elvish Champion. I think Tyler has to draw Shaman off the top and then somehow stitch his combo together after that, which seems approximately impossible.
I don't see how he can do that because he has to tap 3 lands to play the Shaman. Then he needs his Heritage Druid. Oh,
Court of Calling.
That's a Court of Calling for 1. That might give him an ability to sort of string together an improbable series
Right.
of draws.
Symbiote.
I think he needs an elf there.
Symbiote untaps an elf. Sort of is an elf.
Lets him bounce his Elvish Champion.
Oh yeah, sure. And untap his Llanowar. Yeah, he's gonna go ahead and do that. Oh, is this in the middle of the attack? Now I can block if he wants to? That's cute.
Yeah?
So bounces the Elvish Champion in the middle of combat, so that he'll take 4 instead of 7. Still pretty much has to top deck Shaman or possibly Cord in order to get Canonist out of the way, and he's got like 1 turn left to do it before Zadokai just kills him with damage.
Right.
Tyler digging desperately.
Did he draw a Shaman?
Well, Heritage Druid will be his 1 spell for the turn. Land comes into play tapped. Tyler's got 7 points of life left. Ships the turn back to Zadokai.
Interestingly, there's 3 2/2s on 3 2-power creatures on the table. Actually, the Pontiff might be a 1/1.
I think Pontiff's on.
So 2 2-power creatures on the table.
Karen, that's his 2 power.
Yes, it's a 2/2.
No.
It's a token. He can just attack with everyone else twice.
Yeah, 2 attacks, he wins. I don't know if 1 attack is good enough, though. Doesn't look like it. He can Cord here? Is that what he's thinking about? When he has it untapped, we're in Tyler's end step. If he Cords, He can.
One more time.
He's got 5 untapped creatures, but 2 of them are. Only 3 of them are green.
He can cord for Goblin Sharpshooter. That seems fine. That seems like the win.
How does the Convoke work with non-green creatures?
They can pay for the X.
They can pay for the X.
But
Sure.
I still want to play a spell, so.
So he can cord. So then he can cord for 3.
Yeah. I don't know that
Or
he
is that
has
cord for
cord.
2?
He
Oh,
has
did he
no-
miss a Nettle Sentinel on tap? Is Summoner's Pact an instant? I guess so. Doesn't come up very often. He's going to be forced to pay on his upkeep, though, right?
Yes.
So, yeah, this looks like Summoner's Pact during Talar's end step. Zadokai gets around his Canonist by playing it now. He'll be able to play whatever he gets on his next turn. But he is also going to have to pay for the Pact itself.
Is he
on
getting his
upkeep.
own Elvish Champion? Probably getting his own Elvish Champion.
Sure, he pays 4 for it, though.
Nope, just
Hive
Hive
Master.
Master. Huh.
Please tell me he's calculating for the 4 mana he has to spend on his upkeep.
Well, you can do it with Symbiote Llanowar Elf. But I don't know why you would want a Summoner's Pact then.
Okay, there it is.
Oh, he also has... Is that a Heritage Druid under there? Oh, yes, okay. It's a Birch
Lore.
creature. Okay.
I knew he could play it, but now he doesn't have the mana to cast any creatures.
You want your Birch... You want your Nettle Sentinel to untap so you can attack with it.
Or tap it for mana. So we can use Symbiote to untap the Llanowar Elf, thus generating a mana. But, as a cost, he has to return a creature to his hand, which is less than ideal in a world where Canonist is in play. And he's trying to essentially win with a creature swarm.
So returns Nettle Sentinel. I don't know what he's doing here.
Sorry.
Is this the pressure bearing down on him a little bit?
Little bit. He's in a situation he has not practiced. That's what this is. This looks like a game being played by someone who's not had Aethersworn Canonist in play enough to really understand what his game path is. What's his path to victory?
Yeah, I'm not sure he wants to cast that path. I didn't.
Well, he's thinking, double Hive Master. I've got a Canonist. He's never going to catch up to my number of insects. I mean, I can sort of see it, but it puts him in this awkward position where he has to spend all his mana, and
Did he forget to untap his Llanowar Elf?
he still hasn't decided what to pick up with Symbiote yet.
What for? Still haven't played. This is from your turn. Your Heritage.
Okay. So May?
Yeah, I'm still
Now we're helping him out with the combat math there.
You mean from last turn?
Yeah, I played
you
it.
played it. You played it.
Yeah.
Or is it something else?
Yeah, I thought we already cleared up that.
Yeah.
Finally puts it in his hand. Untaps the Llanowar Elf.
Now, if he's got a land, he can play the Hive Master, but if he doesn't have a land, he's going to have to settle for Birch Lore Ranger.
Untap Nettle Sentinel.
He's 1 elf short of being, Canonist. He's done for the turn. So, attack with all of that, and he managed to generate an insect.
Pontiff. Can't send in the Canonist.
No way. It's all 1/1s on the other side. It's not crazy to send in a symbiote. Doesn't Virtual Ranger have summoning
I
sickness?
think Virtual Ranger does have summoning sickness.
Virtual Ranger just got cast.
Hopefully Rich Hagon can...
Yeah, sorry.
There we go. He's thinking about sending in the Canonist.
That seems crazy.
Yeah, so I'm just thinking, sorry. Yeah. Okay, yeah.
Like, don't put them on the red portion of the table unless you're serious. Alright, that's how serious he is.
Attacks for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Good figures.
Alright. Tyler needs Viridian Shaman. No! Zadokai is through to the finals! Matai Zadokai ices the game with the Canonist. Made things complicated, made things a little tricky, but that was the winning strategy. He ices the game with Canonist. Tyler can't come up with the Viridian Shaman he needs to get out of the lock, so Matai Zadokai plays for the Pro Tour Berlin final. There's the high five for his buddy Martin Yuza. Tyler beat Yuza in the quarters, but Zadokai has gotten revenge on their behalf in the semis. It'll be Luis Scott Vargas versus Matai Zadokai. Wow.
I have a really, really good matchup. Because you have no answer to sharpshooter.
Yeah, it's all seems. Yeah, I don't play.
Hello again. Brian and I will be bringing you the finals in about 10 minutes. Zadokai has got the anti-elf deck combo cards. He's got a Goblin Sharpshooter. He's got an Aethersworn Canonist. He's got the Pontiff. He's got the Cord Engine. He can sideboard all of that. He can bring all that stuff up at instant speed. Sitting across from him, Luis Scott Vargas has the momentum. Yeah. Luis Scott Vargas has the fastest version of the Elf combo deck, the most consistent version. Apparently, he's been allegedly an underdog in each of the quarters and the semis.
And it's gone down
badly both
badly
times.
0-2.
But he's come back to win. So Luis Scott Vargas, one of the best players in the Pro Tour right now, on top of the game, on top of the world, looking to put a Pro Tour champion title next to his name for all time. Matai Zadokai looking to pull the upset. A little bit of a Cinderella there. But we'll find out. We'll be back in about 10 minutes. We will be bringing you coverage of the Pro Tour Berlin final, so stay tuned.